Hi, remember my last review about the UAV UR65, one of the best one as tiny micro brushless quadcopter. Today, this is the Eachine US65, and you can find it on UK65, so with some different US or UK flag stick on top everywhere finally. So what we have more compared to the excellent UR65, we have some 19,000 kV 0603 motor, so 2000 kV more faster. And what we have also, in addition, we have a new I/O module, ultralight, about 3 grams, but now including smart audio compatibility. So now, thanks to your radio stick, you will be able through the OSD to set your favorite V-band, V-frake. No possibility to set the output power instead, except the pit mode, but it's already not bad. It's locked at 25 milliwatt. Except that it's exactly the same type of ingredient. An excellent Crazy B F3 board. Now with this version we have a Betaflight 3.4 pre-flash, and you have to know that in order to flash 3.5 you will have some special build because there are now some memory limitation with the new Betaflight 3.5, but anyway it's still possible to flash in 3.5 in any case. We have some the last Bell LES D-Shot 600 firmware on the 6 ampere 4-in-1 built-in ESC, and they are ready to support the ESC budding and flip over crash options. That's great. Okay, and what we have of course an OSD, powerful machine, 3 LEHV battery, 250 mAh model, and voila. So let's now open this box. Okay, I will open simultaneously both the UR65 and the US65. So on the left, the former model. Okay, we had exactly the same type of machine. Look, that is super pretty similar, except now it's completely painted with the US flag on top. Everywhere in each corner you can find the US flag, even on bottom side. Even the arms are painted compared to the transparent nylon for the UR65. No instruction manual for the US65, but we can still find the same type of charger, more in transparent cockpit right now. Be aware, for the 6 parallel charging port, you can find 2 different size of connector in 20 or 10 millimeters, and the upper slide is to set either to LiPo when it's on the left or LEHV on the right. So be sure to turn on the right the mode of charging, and here you can select the amount of current to charge. When it's top, it's the minimum. When it's down, it's maximum, up to 0.6 ampere, if I'm not wrong. So you can use either an AC adapter from any source from 15 volts, if I'm not wrong, a USB, okay, from a computer or power bank, for example, such like this. Or if you want, you can use an external LiPo with an XT60 connector. Okay, so if you want to recharge in Nomad compatibility, you can. So it was the same. We can find the bag with a screwdriver, a prop remover tool, 4 spare props, some 3 blade addition, some spare screws to attach the top canopy here, okay, and some 2 rubber bands, completely useless since we have a battery dock, okay, plastic dock to welcome the battery, and voila. One remark. It's known that this type of props are not among the best equilibrated. Some user report that the 4-blade edition offer much more stable flight performance in comparison, but the prices are lower flight time, no free lunch. Finally, as the UR65, 2 spare props, 250, and one is already pre-installed on the bottom business size. So compared to the battery, they are strictly identical. Some here it's written 250 mAh, but here it's 40C, okay, up to 80C, and this one was only 30-60C. If it's wrong or right, I don't know, true or false, I don't know. But in terms of weight, let's compare them. So the new model is about 6 gram.7, while the former was about 6.6. So quite similar. In my point of view, they look very similar, so I'm not sure they are really the same. The gauge seems the same time of connector. So they are not to not be great, and be aware, because LEHV, if they are boosting performances for the first flight, their longevity is a known problem. Okay, so especially if you try to go very low in low battery voltage, you can damage them even more faster than the classic LiPo. So be aware of that. So let's measure the machine. Okay, the new one with the painted. Okay, so if I don't want to bias the weighting, we have something about 28.5 compared to the former UR65. Since there is no painting, it will be clearly more lighter, and it's clearly 1 gram than 2 more lighter. But this one got some more powerful motors. Don't forget, now the Amazon some 0619. I hope I will be able to focus. Not completely sure. So 19 kV compared to the 17 for the UR65. Yes, 17 versus 19. 2000 kV can bring 1 or 2 extra gram per motors. Of course, the battery will need to be stronger. So 40C, it's an open question. Will be strong enough. It's really an open question, need to be tested. So the battery is welcome to exactly the same battery bay. In fact, exactly the same structure, exactly the same, except that it's painted. Be sure the first time to check all the 3 screws, and we need to tie them, because some are already start to be lost in mid-flight. So be sure to tie to secure them with, for example, a locked thread lock. It will be a good idea. Each motors are connected via 3 position 125 millimeters GST connectors. That's great. So you can find, for example, a clockwise motor with red silicon wires, while counterclockwise with black. But you can inverse the sense of rotation with inside BLLE configurator or BLLE suit. Is not really a big problem. Exactly the same canopy. Okay, so where on the rear left you can probably, but the good news, use a tweezer to access to the unique button of the I/O module. But now, thanks to the support of Smart Audio, no need to play with such tweezer, small amount, and to difficultly set your favorite VFrag V-band. Everything can be done via the OSD. With your radio stick, it's great, and it's working out of the box. That's definitively a great feature, especially if you plan to use such kind of machine in a tiny brushless FPV racing mode. When you can have 4 8 competitors in small indoors area. So that's great, a new feature. And if the pit stop is also here, it will be also great. So unfortunately for the Crazy Beam, you have the same problem to access to the super tiny button, which is located front here. Okay, here you have a small one chip here, the microband button, and another chip here. So be sure to press it. How to bind is a little bit different than the classic FSK receiver. For the first, it was puzzling me, because each time I was succeeding to bind it, I didn't really understand how I was proceeding. But now I think I understood a little bit better. First of all, you need first to power the machine. Okay, it's strange, but it's like this. No need first to press the bind button. Then gently click on the bind button, and then run on your favorite FSK D16 or D8 compatible radio the binding procedure. And after a couple of seconds, it will bind, but the green LED will still continue to flash. So there is no real indication that is working on the flight controller board. So it's a little bit annoying that, for example, the green light don't stay constant when it's bound. It's like this. So 1.2 extra gram. Okay. More powerful motors, and Smart Audio is here. So Betaflight is 3.4, and the good news that it's if the firmware of the ESC are correct, and in the case this is the 16.7 flashed on this one. And the very important, if you need, for example, there will be a new version, don't forget to adapt the first settings that the smart powers to 1.0, because if not, the motor can really start, okay, and it will be very hard to take off. Okay, so this is the important factor to set if you decide to flash new firmware version. But we have the last one, okay, that's great. But as you will see in the Betaflight, is almost fully optimized, but not completely, especially for example for the ESC buzzing and the flip over crash. It's not done out of the box, so it just needs some requirement, okay, some small adaptations, some small configuration. I will show you, of course, how to proceed. So the binding, I repeat, if you prefer, just remove the 2 screws, pivot through the rear tiny screws, the canopy more on the left, because we have some wires, and it will be much more easy to access to the microband button. You can use, for example, to press on it the an Allen key, okay, either of the longer part, take a large one, and it will be more easy to press vertically when this canopy will be rotated from 90 degrees when these 2 screws will be removed. So it will be more easy, I repeat, first turn on the quadcopter or plug it to the USB, it will be even more simpler. Just click a fraction of a second on the bind button and run the bind procedure. And when it's done, as you will see, I will turn on the machine. As you will see, you will already hear some information. First of all, the ESC beacon strength have been increased, okay, to the value of 200 in order to find this machine after 1 minute of inactivity. This job can be done in barely configurator or barely suit. But the good news, I prefer to flash this US65 more in D8 mode in order to enjoy a more lower latency to 11 milliseconds. So in D8 I found with 8 channel is largely enough. We can enjoy a lower latency, so for fast movement is not so bad, because FearSky protocol compared to DSM Spectrum is known to have much more longer latency, so it's a way to reduce. So if I go to the transmitter menu and to the telemetry monitor, good news, we have the RSSI transmitted as well the level of battery, so that's great. So we have some telemetry information sent by this built-in SPI receiver. It's great. We have a channel here, but if you prefer, you can flash in D16 mode. But be aware if you have an original Taranis radio, because this one is the non-European version, non-EU. So if you have a European Taranis radio, first of all, you will need to reflash partially the OpenTX firmware to enjoy and to support more the FCC configuration instead of European. And then you will be able to bind. No problem if you have a jumper, the first or this one, the last V2 version. Okay, no problem with this. So it's time to show you all the Betaflight configuration, but what I want to show you is the OSD, and that is very working. For example, I will turn on this FPV monitors and you will see the result. I already changed a little bit the layout of the default one. Okay. No, if I can. Yes, will be okay. So I will turn on and it will show you that the video frequency, the smart audio is really working. So okay, so we have already the information. I display more the RSSI here, the flight time, when the total flight time. Okay, we have some that's great. With the Crazy Bee we have current meters, so displaying the amount of current already spread, the current voltage, the current flight mode, and the crosshair, very important. So as I will show, with this switch in the middle position, I can activate the buzzer, or here I'm arming, okay, so be aware of that. That's great. And one important information, if you never use the flip over crash, so when the machine is like this, first of all you need to disarm, okay, like this. Then activate the flip over crash. For me is this switch, okay. Then rearm the machine, and then you have to play with the left and right or up and down, okay, in order to flip, okay. And but I found that only 2 motors are activated for, as you can see. It's possible to flip, as you can see, but sometimes, okay, I will reactivate, okay. Yes, because it was supposed to be in the, okay, arm, okay. Then I will flip. I will show you one more time. So need to disarm, okay, like this. Then press the flip, and then you can, in theory, okay, sometimes it's not working because, okay, okay. Sometimes you need to replug the power. So this is definitively linked with the smart power option 210. So sometimes, or the battery voltage. Be aware of that, okay. Okay, so sometimes when the power is very low, it's not harming. Oh, okay. So what I want to show you, whatever, is how to, when you disarm, okay. Oh, it was not working because I got the flip over crash, sorry. Okay. Okay, so whatever, we will push and enter into the features like this. Go to the features, go to the video transmitter TR, and then I can select the band or the power, no problem. For example, I will change the channel, okay, actually the channel 1, but if I want, I can select the channel 4 and then press set and confirm. It's done, and now I will change it. As you saw, it's changing the V-frame. Maybe I select the bad one. So I will run a church. Maybe it's located somewhere. We will run the scanning. Yes, it's locked somewhere. Okay, after a couple of seconds, I will re-enter into the OSD. Okay, so I will re-enter. Boss cam, yes, sorry, I was not in the correct, and set. Yes, confirm, yes. Now it's changing, that's great. And I will select now the band A for me, and the fourth one. And voila, so I am in the correct band, no problem. And you can activate the pit mode. So that's great that the smart audio is working right now. Sorry for the small demonstration, not immediately working, but at least it's a real time, no artificial way, and you can at least meet some problem in real time that I'm meeting sometimes. So as you saw, sometimes it's not harming, okay. So it's often an equation of level battery sometimes, okay. So yes, it's harmed. So you know I'm under 3.9 volt. Okay, it's not harming. Okay, sometimes. So I have to reboot. Okay, I will change the battery, and now I will use another battery. Okay, I don't know where they were. For example, this one, and I will turn off the transmitter. Use another battery. Okay, turn on the radio. Okay, 4.1 volt. Let's see if we can hum. It's hum. Okay, now it's working. Okay, so sometimes if it's another nominal voltage, you cannot harm anymore. So it's a new Betaflight settings probably, to be sure to not damage your battery. So need to be a little bit tuned, but whatever, I will show you the main Betaflight setting I changed, especially for the OSD, for the ESC buzzing. As you can hear, it's working. It's not super loud, but at least it's working. For a radius of 1-2 meters, it can be possible to find it. So let's go now in Betaflight. Okay, so let's check the default Betaflight configuration. So I will press connect. With the crazy bee, it takes some couple of seconds to be connected. Okay, so don't panic, it's normal. And sometimes it's not opening the port, so you will have to replug. Okay, and replug to your computer. Sometimes happens. Okay, let's reconnect. But after a couple of seconds, when you can see some movement there, it should work. So immediately, as usual, it's strongly advised to dump everything. So we have effectively the version 3.4, the Crazy Bee with Fierce Sky receiver, okay, built-in receiver with SPI direct connection. So it's strongly advised to dump, okay, everything like this, and copy into a text file, for example, already did, and in order to save your default configuration. Whatever, I will show you my current modification of the US65 settings. So it would be more applied for the jumper, but only a minor detail is different from an original Taranis radio. So the first thing is to check the port, and you will see that thanks to the new I/O module, a small new parameter need to be done. Okay, so as you can see, sometimes it's not working. Okay, it will run now. And immediately, if you can see that the UART3 is now with a TPS Smart Audio. Okay, so it's the novelty here. Let's continue with the configuration. Here a lot of changes have been made, especially by me, to optimize a little bit the settings. So we have for sure quad X, no specific reverse motors, but if you notice, for example, that your quadcopter is bending with the rear right motors, for example, a known trick is to reverse the sense of rotation of the motor. For example, the motor 4 will be counterclockwise, the motor 2 clockwise, and so on. By clicking here, you will need to reverse the front props, so with the left with the right, and the back left with the back right. Okay, and also you will need also to change through barely suit or barely configuration the sense of rotation of each motor. Okay, and then everything will be a little bit better to maneuver for super fast U-turn, is known at least. So let's continue. D-Shot 600 is pre-selected, that's great. We have 8 kilo for the gyro, 2 kilos for the PID. Some prefer to have 4.4. Okay, it's up to you, but it's already not bad. I increase a little bit the maximum angle for arming, 35 degrees. You have the craft name, okay, and very important, you have to select the SPI RX support as a receiver mode. And as I said in my first part, I prefer to select more the D8 mode, so you have to select the D for D8. The D16 is more with an underscore X. Okay, so by default is with underscore X. I changed to D to bind it in D8 mode or with only 8 channel, but with RSSI standby telemetry. Very important as well to be sure that you have telemetry, okay, and OSD. And if you want to enjoy the D-Shot beacon configuration, so some ESC buzzer, you will need to at least select a number between 1 to 5 here, and be sure, for example, to turn on the RX lost, so it will ring as soon as you will have a face save, you lost the radio contact, or when, and especially you have absolutely to turn on this one, is if you want to turn on the beacon, the buzzer through a switch is super important. It's not done by default, so you have to do it. Okay, so you have to save, okay, and when it's done, you will reboot and then continue the configuration. So we reconnect. Okay, it's entering, it's a little bit slow. Let's continue the power and the battery. So as I showed in the first part, sometimes the machine is not arming when the battery is a little bit low. So I decided to decrease a little bit the minimum cell voltage and the warning cell to 3.1 and 3.3 respectively. I'm not sure it will impact the arming capacity, but in any case, I will say some warning about the battery will be a little bit more apparent later. For the face safe, I changed nothing. The PID applied my classic trick, so I didn't change any PIDs for the Betaflight 3.4, but only the rates. So something about 1000 for the pitch. I will do the same for the for the rolls. I will do the same for the pitch. Okay. So about 1000 to have a faster flip and roll. Okay, and for the more linear answers with these settings, as you can see, is something more linear. Except that nothing is done. You can eventually turn on the dynamic filtering, but I think it's turned on by default. Okay, so I save the settings. Now it's done. I will turn on the transmitter, okay, and as soon as you will turn on the transmitter, you will see the channel, okay, everything is more or less centered on the value of 1500. You don't see any RSSI activity because the RSSI is sent to the OSD directly via the SPI connection, so you don't need any more dislike any S-bus or I-bus receiver to select the channel of the RSSI. Is directly sent, that's great, to the main core. So you can apply whatever deadband. In any case, for example, the value of 4 and 4 is a good choice, for example. Okay, and I will leave the default RC smoothing. I will save right now. And for the mode, I changed some. Okay, and I, for example, using the a three-way position for arm and the last bottom position in aux1, and I use a second three-way position to select my flight mode, angle, horizon, and acro. The acro mode, okay, when it's in down position, will be added with anti-gravity and also with the air mode. As you can see, the beeper is in the middle position of the X1, okay, so it will ring, okay, and super important, the novelty as well. I associate with the two-way position switch the flip over crash, okay, so as I repeat one more time, you need first to disarm when the machine is flipped over, then engage this switch here, okay, and then to rearm the machine. Then just play with the right stick, left and right or up and down, to activate the two motors to flip the machine. It's with this version there is no 4 motors flip possibility actually, but it can be added later probably with a new ESC firmware. So okay, let's continue. For the OSD also did some changes, remove some information. First of all, select the NTSC because the IO module is in NTSC, adapt the milliampere capacity, and then I want to display the RSSI, which is working fine, the timer too, which is the total arm time. Okay, here we will have the main battery voltage about here, the crosshair in the middle, and we have the flight mode here in the bottom right, and the two current draw and mat draw here, okay, on the bottom left. And I also remove, for example, by default, the warning displaying super fast after just a couple of seconds the low battery voltage flashing in the middle of the screen, so it's a little bit annoying. Except that we are ready to go. Okay, that's great, and be sure, as I mentioned in the beginning, to activate the beacon option, new features introduced with the last Betaflight 3.3 last release candidate, and more, I would say, more currently more friendly with Betaflight 3.4. So now it's time to go in the field, well, more in my garden and backward, to check this little new US65 and check if this 19,000 kV will bring much more power, despite to be 1.2 more heavier than the UR65. But now we enjoy smart audio, and it's great. Just for that, I recommend this machine in any case. Let's go. Small conclusion about this Eachine US65 UK65. Well, first of all, if you wonder if I'm impressed with the new 19,000 kV, I am not completely. In fact, in terms of power, motor thrust is similar, quite similar to the US65. So, due to the 1 gram 2 extra gram, despite to be a 19,000 kV, or maybe the battery are not really rated for TC, it's powerful. Okay, you can see how I use how I clean very easily. I can perform some flips and rolls. It's not a problem at all. But like the UR65, so more or less the 1.2 extra gram compensates the 19 kV. But I would say the most positive point is probably the smart audio working directly out of the box, is well configured, and unfortunately we need to just do some basic Betaflight settings to enjoy the ESC buzzer and the flip over crash options. So but no specific Betaflight firmware or ESC firmware flashing required to enjoy these two new features. So if I can choose between, I will pick up the more the Eachine, because first is a little bit more cheaper than the UR65, if I'm not wrong. The design is cool, the IO camera is great, I really like it, and the smart audio is working very well. The flight duration is about 3 minutes 10 seconds, okay, before to have the battery pretty low. But is working well, and you saw some little bit instability is mainly due to the props. Install some Eachine E011, E010. They are pretty cheap. They are some 4-blade edition, and they are working pretty well. Such kind of props, for example, it's working much better. So I am if I was impressed by the US65, I'm still impressed by the US65. It's our highly recommended indoors and near range outdoors flyers in model that really is fast, is agile, is powerful, it's acro compatible. The IO and the FPV range is great. You have telemetry, you have everything, smart audio, everything is here in 28.2 grams. Maybe the paint is a little bit heavy and 1 gram can be saved if we can change at least the structure. One notice, probably for the Crazy Bee, you can see here, maybe I will try to make it close up. Yes, you can see this green wires going through to the pin of the main MCU is probably for the smart audio option. That's the modifications they did for that in order to make compatible the Crazy BF3 board. So be aware of this. It won't support natively the official release of Betaflight 3.5, but we have already a 3.4, which is already not bad. So I hope you enjoyed this new video. If you like it, please submit, and see you next time. Bye bye.